Here is your complete YouTube script for Aussie Gateway. If you've been waiting for a fresh chance to move to Australia, then this video is going to change everything for you. Because in 2026, Australia has just opened a brand new visa pathway, and thousands of people around the world are already missing out simply because they don't know it exists yet. Hey everyone, welcome back to Aussie Gateway, the channel where we break down Australia's immigration system in the simplest way possible so that you never miss an opportunity that could change your life. I'm so glad you're here today because this is genuinely one of the most exciting immigration updates we've covered in a long time. Australia has introduced a new visa pathway in 2026, and whether you're a skilled worker, a student, a graduate, or even someone who has been rejected before, this update could have something specifically for you. So make sure you watch this entire video because I'm going to cover who can apply, what the requirements are, how the process works, and what steps you need to take right now. Don't skip ahead. Don't fast forward because every single part of this video matters if you're serious about making Australia your new home. Let's start with the big picture. Why is Australia doing this? Why is the Australian government opening new visa pathways in 2026? The answer is very simple. Australia needs people. The country is facing significant shortages in key industries including healthcare, construction, technology, education, agriculture, and hospitality. The population is growing, but the workforce isn't keeping up with demand. Regional areas across Australia are especially struggling to attract and retain skilled workers. So what does Australia do? It creates new and more accessible visa options to bring in talent from around the world. This is not charity. This is a calculated move by one of the world's most economically stable countries to fill gaps that their own population simply cannot fill fast enough. And that is great news for you, because it means the doors are open wider than they've been in years. Now let's talk about the specific visa pathway that has been introduced or significantly updated in 2026. The focus of this update is heavily centered around the Skills in Demand visa, which has replaced the older temporary skill shortage visa. This new system is more flexible, more streamlined, and designed to attract a much broader range of workers. There are three distinct streams within this visa, and understanding which stream applies to you is the most important step you can take right now. The first stream is called the Specialist Skills Stream. This is designed for highly skilled professionals who earn above a certain high-income threshold. If you are a doctor, an engineer, a senior IT professional, a financial analyst, or someone in a highly specialized technical field, this stream was built for you. The income threshold for this stream sits at around 135,000 Australian dollars per year. If you meet that salary requirement and your occupation is in demand, the processing time for this stream is incredibly fast. We're talking weeks, not months. This is Australia's way of saying to the world's top talent, we want you, and we want you quickly. The second stream is the Core Skills Stream. This is where the majority of applicants will fall, and honestly, this is the most exciting stream because it covers such a wide range of occupations. The Core Skills Stream is linked to the Core Skills Occupation List, which is a list that gets updated regularly based on what the Australian labor market actually needs. This list includes hundreds of occupations across industries like nursing, teaching, accounting, cooking, electrical work, plumbing, carpentry, social work, and so much more. The salary threshold for this stream is lower, making it accessible to mid-level workers who are skilled, but perhaps not earning top-tier salaries yet. If your occupation is on this list, you are in a genuinely strong position to apply. The third stream is called the Essential Skills Stream, and this one is still being rolled out in stages throughout the 2026. This stream is aimed at lower-paid but critically essential workers, particularly those in care industries and agriculture. Think aged care workers, disability support workers, farm laborers, and food processing workers. Australia recognizes that these workers are the backbone of its society and economy, and this stream is designed to give them a real, legitimate pathway to not just work in Australia, but to eventually settle there permanently. This stream is a huge deal for people coming from countries like the Philippines, India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and many parts of Africa and Southeast Asia. Now let's talk about the pathway to permanent residency because a temporary visa is great. But what most people really want is the right to call Australia home permanently. The Skills and Demand Visa is a temporary visa, typically valid for up to 4 years. But here's the beautiful part. It is explicitly designed as a stepping stone to permanent residency. After working in Australia on this visa and meeting certain requirements around time spent in the country and continued employment in your nominated occupation, you become eligible to apply for permanent residency through pathways like the Employer Nomination Scheme or the Skilled Independent Visa. Some regional workers can access even faster permanent residency timelines if they work and live outside the major cities like Sydney and Melbourne. This brings us to one of the most important strategies you need to understand: regional Australia. The Australian government has been pushing very hard to get skilled migrants to move to regional areas rather than crowding into Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. To incentivize this, they have created faster processing times, additional points in points-tested visas, and even dedicated regional visa subclasses for people willing to live and work outside the major cities. If you are flexible about where in Australia you live, your chances of getting a visa approved increase dramatically. Cities like Adelaide, Hobart, Darwin, Canberra, and dozens of regional towns are actively recruiting international workers and offering real lifestyle advantages along with the immigration benefits. Let's also talk about the points test, because many of the permanent residency pathways in Australia use a points-based system, and understanding this can help you plan your immigration journey strategically. Points are awarded for things like your age, your English language ability, your work experience both inside and outside Australia, your educational qualifications, your partner's skills, whether you've studied in Australia, and whether you're willing to work in a regional area. The current pass mark sits at 65 points, but in reality, most people who receive invitations to apply have scores well above that, sometimes reaching 80 or 90 points. If you want to maximize your points, the areas to focus on are improving your English through tests like IELTS or PTE, gaining more skilled work experience, and if possible, doing some study or work in Australia before applying for permanent residency. Now let's talk about who specifically this 2026 update is good news for. If you are a nurse or a healthcare worker anywhere in the world, Australia is actively looking for you right now. The healthcare system is under enormous strain, and the demand for qualified nurses, aged care workers, and allied health professionals is at an all-time high. If you are a tradesperson, a plumber, an electrician, a carpenter, a welder, your skills are in massive demand, especially in regional areas and in the construction boom happening across the country. If you are an IT professional with experience in cybersecurity, software development, data science, or cloud computing, the technology sector in Australia is growing rapidly, and companies are struggling to find enough local talent. If you are a teacher, particularly in early childhood education, special education, or secondary science and mathematics, you will find that Australian schools and governments are very eager to recruit you. And if you are in the social services or care sector, the essential skills stream is opening a door that has never really existed before at this scale. One very important thing to understand about this new system is the role of the employer. For most streams of the Skills and Demand visa, you will need an approved sponsor, meaning an Australian employer who is willing to hire you and go through a registration process with the Department of Home Affairs. This means your job search and your visa application are closely linked. The good news is that there are now more tools than ever to connect international job seekers with Australian employers who are actively looking to sponsor workers from overseas. Websites like Seek, Indeed Australia, and LinkedIn are full of roles that mention visa sponsorship. There are also registered migration agents and recruitment agencies that specialize in exactly this kind of placement. Speaking of migration agents, this is the part of the video where I want to give you a very important warning. The immigration process in Australia is complex, and the laws and requirements change regularly. There are unfortunately many people online and offline who will take your money and give you wrong or outdated advice. Always make sure that the person helping you with your visa application is a registered migration agent with the Office of the Migration Agents Registration Authority, also known as OMARA. You can check any agent's registration on the OMARA website for free. Do not trust anyone who promises you a visa, asks for very large upfront fees without a proper contract, or claims to have special connections inside the immigration department. Legitimate migration agents are professionals who will give you honest assessments of your chances and guide you through the process correctly. Let me also address the people watching this who may have been rejected before. A previous visa refusal does not automatically disqualify you from applying again, especially if your circumstances have changed, your skills have improved, or your English has gotten stronger. However, it does mean you need to be extra careful and almost certainly should work with a qualified migration agent who can assess what went wrong last time and help you build the strongest possible application this time around. Here's a quick summary of the action steps you should take right now if you are serious about this opportunity. Step 1. Check the Core Skills Occupation list on the Australian Department of Home Affairs website to see if your occupation is listed. Step 2. Assess your English language level, and if it's below the required standard, start preparing for your IELTS or PTE exam immediately. Step 3. Gather your documents including educational certificates, employment references, and any previous Australian study or work records. Step 4. Start researching Australian employers in your field who have a history of sponsoring overseas workers. Step 5. Consult with a registered migration agent who can give you a personalized assessment of your visa options and point score. Australia in 2026 is not just a dream destination, it is an achievable one. The country is actively reaching out to the world and saying, "We have space for you. We have jobs for you. We have a future for you." But opportunities like this don't stay open forever. Immigration policies change, occupation lists get updated, and the window that exists today may not look the same in 12 or 18 months. The people who act now are the ones who will be living and thriving in Australia, while others are still watching videos and wondering, what if? That's it for today's video on Aussie Gateway. If this video gave you clarity, gave you hope, or gave you a direction you didn't have before, please hit that like button right now, because it genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need exactly this information. Subscribe to Aussie Gateway if you haven't already, because we post regular updates on Australian immigration, visa tips, and real stories from people who have successfully made the move. Drop your questions in the comments below. I read every single one, and I will do my best to point you in the right direction. Share this video with someone you know who has been dreaming about Australia, because you might just change their life today. Until next time, stay focused, stay hopeful, and keep moving toward your Australian dream. See you in the next one.